act number one. What is an event? When we think about the event, I don't want you to think just the networking events. Think more. It's workshops, summits, conferences, meetings. Maybe it's brand activation campaign. It's the location visit. It might be the product launch. But all of this refers to the interaction between people. So the event is then, okay, occurrence of gathering, like we're here today, for a specific purpose. What this purpose could be? Well, build relationships, network, and introduce new product or location or the team. Well, beneath all of this lies one essential purpose. It's either we are exchanging the information or delivering it, delivering information and value. I'm delivering information right now. Okay, does it mean that this mini event, which is my keynote, is successful? Well, certainly not. You probably say, well, Anya, if what you say is good, then maybe it will be successful. But who decides if my information is good? I certainly believe it's good. Some of you may think, well, that sounds interesting. Some of you disagree. So this leads me to say a very important point with that we always, or very often forget. Perception of information is extremely subjective. Okay, I know, but event is so much more than just content. Look at this. That's what producers saw there from the event. So I see, but listen, the recipients of the event are people, meaning that I can expand my point and I can say that it's not only information, but everything that happens during the event is very, very subjective. You today are sitting at the event. Each of you will have your own impressions, own opinions, own meanings about this event. And that's what determines whether the event was successful or not. If you think that you have the best content, the best execution, logistics, catering, and so on, unfortunately still doesn't guarantee that your event will be successful. When I say successful, I mean create meaning and impact. Think about if you throw a stone in the water, we're not interested if the stone will touch the water. We are interested how many splashes, how many waves it can produce. The further the better. And also in the right direction, which means the strategy. Okay, so how do we, and I was thinking, how can we create the impact? But what creates impact? Impact is created when all of you engage during the event. You engage with the content, with people, with space, right? Okay, so how can I make you engage? How? In this case, and I'm so glad that's why I saw the emotions on the screen. People act, people behave only if they feel, if they think, and if they get emotionally invested. In other words, they experience. Okay? In this case, I can actually tell you that experience is the one that determines the impact and therefore the success of your event. You're probably thinking, okay, yeah, we've known that maybe before, but do you know what's the difference between experience and event? Well, that's how I define it. Experience is what happens internally, the journey that happens internally. And the event is the journey that happens externally, which means experience is our feelings, thoughts, emotions, and the event is the external journey. It's operations, logistics, but all of this catering and so on. That leads me to say, after all my journey of this reason, it took years, but I can say now with complete certainty that experience is the one that creates impact, not the event. And on that note, it's Act 2. Impact comes from experience and not event. I will look at my notes. Maybe you can digest what I just said. Okay, let's think. Experience creates impact and it's not the event. But think about it, when you organize the event, what's the starting point? We think about agenda, key speakers, what do we want to say, what's the location, what's the price. So all of this is actually referring to the external event. We talk about emotions, we say how important they are, but are they part of the design of the event by default? Well, that's not what I saw during my event experiences. So, and of course, I'm sorry, but KPIs, this is a big one, right? So we have to make sure that we reach a certain amount. The more guests at the event, the better. And this numbers is a little bit of an obsession with numbers. Why are we actually even so obsessed about the numbers? If we think about it, humans, we love to have a sense of impact, progress. The higher the number, the better. We immediately feel like we've done something, the impact was there. But unfortunately, over and over I see that this sort of approach, it does entertain your eyes, or the eyes of your guests. It does entertain with perfect execution. It misses the heart. But it's the heart that creates the impact. It's the heart that determines the impact and the success of your event. Okay, so in this case, it shouldn't be that we create events from the outside-in perspective, from operations, hoping that the emotions will follow. Instead, we can design events inside out. First, I want to understand what kind of emotional journey I want to create, and only then I look at what kind of operations and budgets and everything else I have in order to make it happen. All right, now let's think. You probably think, okay, it's probably cool, okay, we organize the emotional journey. I completely understand that we cannot control what people think or what people feel, but I can assure you, I can say with certainty, you can influence what they think about. Because one way or the other, the people will have an experience during your event. It's just a matter of whether you influence it or you just leave it to chance. I highly recommend not to leave it to chance, because that's the one that determines the impact of the event. So what can we do? Think about the experience as a long, long chain of many, many, many different moments. Each moment subconsciously sparks emotion or thought in people's mind. You yourself might not even know it. Okay, which means for the event organizers and for everyone is that each moment is an opportunity or a risk, because it either helps your impact, it dilutes it, or it ignores it. Okay, now, what can I do with all this information? How can I create an experience and then look at my operations and so on? I've developed a framework, step-by-step guide that actually designs emotions in service of strategy. High level, I'm going to show it to you right now. So, it has 3 steps. Step number 1, turn your strategy into actions. I'm not in the business of wow, random moments and trying to make a shiny objects, hoping that the event will do some impact. I want it directly influence the strategy of mine. I look at the strategy, I look at the KPIs, subjects, everything I need to achieve as the business. And then I say, how my people at the event should behave, should act, so that these actions contribute to my strategy. Step 2. Okay. Turn the actions into emotions. How do I need to make people feel so that they are inspired to act this way? And listen, I'm not talking just about one emotion, making the event inspiring. I'm talking about many different moments, emotions in the right sequence. It's like a story. The good story, it really takes you on an emotional journey. So now, step 3, we turn emotions into operations. What do I have available? How much budgets? What do I have available in terms of the resources, operation space? What are the constraints? I look at everything as to how I start the event, but I look at all of my available resources and I ask myself, what can I do to inspire this emotion so that this emotion leads to that action? All right. Example, I would assume. Take this keynote, for example. I know exactly what kind of journey I'm trying to take you on. So, what do I have available at me? I have the screen, so I can use the slides, or I can use the video, right? I also have the lights. And I can use the sound. I also can use the smell. All to highlight that we are getting some sort of evoke of emotions only if we experience. So on that note, as you can see, every decision, we can put the lights back on. That was just a small performance just to highlight the point. But the point is that every decision that you take when you organize the event will influence one way or the other the experience that people have. So please choose very wisely and choose from the emotion that you want to evoke. I want to evoke this emotion, that's why I do this action. Otherwise it becomes just random operational moments. Oh no. And the second one, please remember that all events we're dealing with people and we have multi-senses, so the experience becomes much stronger if it's multi-sensory. On that note, I'm taking you to Act 3, which is inside-out approach of mine works and works every time.
Hi there. Unfortunately, I have to pause this video since the Act 3 has confidential information from my partners and customers. However, thank you so much for watching the video. I highly encourage you to visit my website, azxdesign.com, and there you can book a free consultation where I look into your specific event, experience, in-person interaction, or CX format, or even location, and give you practical advice how inside-out approach will help you to maximize ROI all within your resources. Because believe me, it's not about the budgets, it's about its distribution, and devil lies in the details. So let me help to turn your transactional event and interaction into meaningful experience so that all your customers and partners can say, hey, that was worth my time, attention, money. I want more. Thank you so much for watching. Please follow and comment. And I really hope that this video was helpful, and maybe, just maybe, we will be able to meet and talk. Thank you so much.